Today is I'm going to explain on some OOPS concept which is very basic to any programmer or a software engineer. So there are two concepts which I'm going to explain it today, which is class and object. So I'm not going with a definition what class is that you'll anyway get it anywhere in the when you browse it on the Google you'll get it. So I'm going to explain it in very a simple way with an example so where you can understand it. This video is mainly for the freshers or who are now studying engineering with the computer science uh, the computer application CS branch. So now what is class? The class, you can say it as an blueprint. For example, when you start working on any application, when you start working in any company for a project, so if you think that you are working on any application, like for example, if you are aware, very good example is like you can take it Flipkart or Amazon. So when you are working on such applications, so when you go for a Flipkart, very basic one where you can see is the first one is a product. Now product is in a class, so it's just a blueprint. uh, that is the class. And if you work on any mobile application, the mobile is the class. And if you take a car, that car, and when you are any product in the Flipkart or Amazon, so those are not the classes, it's just a blueprint. When you go for an object, means later I'll explain it what class contains and all. Now go for an object. The object is a real instance of that class. Now I have a car. So car is in a blueprint, just the class it is. So what actually the object is the real instance. Like for example, there are many brands of that car. No, if we take a Tesla, then it has a properties of the model is a Model 3 and the year is a 2024. So now this is an actual object. For example, if you have a car at your home, so whatever that existing, the physically existing car at your home, right? So that is the actual instance, the actual, the product. So that is objects. So I hope you understood what the difference of class and object here. See, and this is the basic one, the understanding of what class and object is. Once you go for a code, you can see it here. The car I created is a car 1 equal to new car. This is how you create an object here. What new keyword you uses for the creating an object. So what, when you write it like this, car equal to car 1 equal to new car, what this new keyword does is that it will do the memory allocation to this particular object car 1. uh, when you try to understand this in a programmatically way, the car 1 is the actual car, you created it. You are allocating the memory. Even for example, just take it as a, when you are saving any contacts to the mobile, so it will save somewhere in the mobile, right? It needs the memory, right? So something like that, when you create an object for that car one object, there is a memory allocation will happen using this new keyword. And there is one more, when you create an object internally, constructor will be called. So that I will explain it in the next video, like what constructor does. Usually what constructor does is it will initialize the value for this car. So when you created car 1 equal to new car, so internally it create a constructor that helps to initialize the value for this car object. For example, car will have, see in the above, the car has a Tesla Model 3 2024, right? And when you create, means when you are externally you are not creating it any constructor, by default internally it creates itself. So there what it does is that any object, means here you can see the actual object 1 equal to Tesla Model 2024 is there, right? When you don't mention it these values, by default it takes it as a Tesla, it is a string, right? For a string, by default it assign the value, initialize the value as a null. For Model 3 also it is a string, right? It will assign the null only. Then 2024 is an integer, right? For this one it will assign the 0. This I'll explain it, I think, separately in one video, what all what all default values are there for which all data types. So that I'll explain it in separate video. So this is how it constructed what it does, but detail what are type of constructors are there, that I'll explain it in another video. This video is only for to explain car and object, so I just explain constructor because when you create an object, internally constructor also be created. So that's what I explain it, that one. And next one, the class. What class contains actually? If you think generally, class what car will have car will have a properties, right? Which color of the car is there, the model, uh, and also these all are the car properties. And also the methods. Method means here the functionality of that object, means if a car is there, what are functionality it can have. It can start, it can stop, it is moving, the drive, there are etc etc. So these are the functionality of that car. Here I'll just take kind of one example. The property is the color, and then start is the method I've taken. Method means simply you just think it as it's a functionality, the function of that that object. So so what class contains is the properties and the methods. Hope you understood what I have explained. Any queries or questions, please comment below so I can answer it. Thank you.